Sorry about that. That was crazy. I'll get it figured out someday. All right, here we go. I got a good show. I got some good stuff to talk about today. All right. Looks like we're just about set up here. All right, let's go ahead and roll this bad boy up. Well, all right, everybody. Welcome to Boom's Drive to Work. I am Boom. I'm so glad that you're here today. I got some exciting stuff to talk about today. We got a good. It was a crazy kind of weekend where we did all kinds of things, and it was just wild. It's like 1 million degrees in Colorado right now. So if you go outside, you instantly turn into like just burnt stuff. It's kind of gross. But we had some fun. So I'm going to talk about a few things today. I'm going to talk about Rocksmith. I'm going to talk about guitars. And then we're going to talk a little bit, I'm going to cover briefly a little bit about the whole Dr. Disrespect thing, just because I like Dr. Disrespect. And I don't know what's going on, and I don't claim to know anything, but I think that's the crazy part of the whole thing. So we're gonna just talk about those three things today, and just kind of shoot it. So if you're on chat, be sure to go ahead and shoot me some messages. Let me know what you're thinking. But I wanted to start with the most fun thing you could ever do as a human being, and that fun thing is play guitar. So over the weekend, I had the privilege of getting to go out and go to some guitar stores because my son graduated, and as a graduation present, he was going to get a guitar. That's what he wants. And he decided, he was like, I want I was like, get anything you want. Find the guitar. Let it call out to you. Find the one that resonates with your soul, the one that you're passionate about, the guitar that you think you could have for the next 75 years of your life, right? The guitar, hopefully they bury you with, So we played over the course of 2 days, hundreds and hundreds of different guitars. We went to every guitar shop. We drove all around. In fact, we drove so much that my air conditioning in my car went out. That's a whole nother deal. I got to go and fix the air conditioning in my car. But what we ended up finding was that there is a lot of dang guitars out there. So we went out. We tried to find the guitar. And in this process, I ended up buying a guitar for myself. So I bought myself basically what looks just like what's on the screen here. It's an Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro with a dark red wine finish. Now, the funny thing is okay, this guitar was used, and it was hanging up on the used rack. And Colorado has this law where you have to wait 30 days to purchase it. It's like a cooling off period to make sure it's not stolen, which I feel like this guitar had to be stolen because it's just so, I mean, it's such a good deal. I was like, oh yeah, this one's probably taken. This one's definitely probably stolen. So anyway, I've got 3 more days to wait. I get this guitar on the 29th. So I gotta chill out for a bit. Then the guitar is gonna roll out. And let me just tell you, this thing called out to me. My son was playing it. The tone was just sweet. He had it plugged into an orange amp. And it just sounded amazing. And I was like, I gotta have a sample of that. So I went ahead and grabbed the guitar and said, hey, let me borrow this, as you do is, and I sat down and I started playing it. I was like, oh man, I love this guitar. Now the crazy part about it, this guitar is easily probably a $1,000 guitar. And the price tag on this guitar was $350. So I was looking at this thing going, okay, there's no way that guitar is $350. Now, I want to tell you just a little something about my experience, at least buying guitars. Price does not matter. You could spend $4,000. You could spend $100. You can maybe find the perfect guitar for you and not spend a lot of money. It just doesn't, money is just not it. Every instrument is its own unique thing. It's its own unique experience. Its own unique, just like feel. And then, the other side of it is you don't realize when you're in the store, these guitars are going to age. And when they age, they have a different vibe to them. They feel different. They get different tonalities. The warmth starts to happen the older they get. I have guitars now that are 20 years old because I bought them a long time ago, and they sound so much better than they used to. So there's this misconception out there that you just got to go out and spend $1 billion to get like the guitar, and it's just not true. It's just not true. So I sat there for about 35 minutes and I was just looking at this guitar up and down, and I was like, there is something wrong with this guitar because it was priced incredibly wrong. I was like, something is wrong with this thing. I didn't find anything. Played great. Played amazing. I fell in love with it immediately. Now you got to remember, I am here buying guitars for my son when all this is going down. And all I end up doing is finding a guitar for myself. So I didn't know about the cooling off period. I take the guitar up to the counter. I say, I'd like to buy this thing. And they said, oh yeah, this is great. This is cool. And in fact, one of the guitar guys came over and he was like, there's no way that guitar is $350. So they looked it up. They did all their checks. They did everything they needed to do. And sure enough, it was $350. We were like, no way. There's no way this is the thing. So we end up getting it, and the guy's like, there's no case for it. And I'm like, that's fine. Give me a case. I was like, get me your finest case. Bring me your finest case. So he went in the back to find the case, and it comes back and he says, oh, by the way, this one you can't have for another week because it's on this hold that the state of Colorado has to stop people from stealing stuff, I guess. And I don't know, in all the confusion and everything, I was just like, well, I don't know then. Let me just wait. So I held off, and I was like, I'm going to go eat lunch. So I went around and I got some In-N-Out. And the whole time I was like, man, I need this guitar, man. I need this guitar, man. I need this guitar. Now, I was shopping with my wife. If you've ever shopped for something like this with your wife, you know that they're sitting there going, you don't really need it. You know what I'm saying? My heart was like, I need this. No wife is going to say that you need this guitar. My wife is pretty understanding and knows my love of guitars, but At any rate, I was like, you know what? I don't need another guitar. I have great guitars already. So I'll skip it. So I skip it. And one thing leads to another, and I get a text from my parents. My parents decided they wanted to buy this for me for my birthday. I just turned 50, and they said, let's buy this for you for your birthday. And immediately when they said that, I was like, yes, yes. So they happened to be out and about. They swung into the guitar store. They're just going to purchase it for me. They found out it had a case and everything. So I end up getting this guitar with a hard case. Beautiful Les Paul Custom Pro wine. Just fabulous, gorgeous guitar. Fabulous, gorgeous guitar. $350. $350. Now, I'm supposed to be buying a guitar for my son. So now I feel guilty, right? Because here we are and we've done all this and I don't even have a guitar yet for him. He's played everything. I actually tried to talk him into buying the one that I ended up with because I was so in love with it. I was like, you got to have this. Just buy this guitar. Take this guitar. Own this guitar. And he's like, nah, it's just not me. And that's the way guitars are. You will play them and one will just feel right. All the others won't. This one just felt like, I was meant to have this guitar. It was just meant to be. So I've got to wait till the 29th. I'm going to have another podcast episode after I get this done. I'm going to show it off. I'm going to show everybody this new guitar I got. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Now in the course of all of this, my son has played Fenders. He's played, in fact, his favorite guitar I think that he was kind of leaning towards was a Jaguar, but he had played the Strats and he'd played all that stuff. I have a Strat. I have an American Strat here in the house, and he played all these different guitars. He played all of the ESPs and all of the Jacksons and all of the, we just went through the line. There were some beautiful Gretsch guitars he played. We had, everything under the sun. He's playing and playing and playing and playing, and all of a sudden he starts gravitating at the last store that we went to, by the way, that just had a fantastic, it was a guitar center that had like every guitar. It was great. He starts gravitating towards the Les Paul models. And so he plays and plays and plays and plays. And he settles upon a Gibson Les Paul standard. And he just it was just awesome. And I don't know if that guitar, I don't know. I'm looking at the website right now. I don't even know if I see it on here. I think it's this one right now. It's a really deep red color. I can't remember if it was the 60s or the 50s that he got. I think he got this, might be the 60s plain top. Anyway, we go in there. He decides he finds this dream guitar. And of course, this is a Gibson Les Paul, so this is on the top rack. These are not cheap guitars. You're into $2,000 at least for these guitars. We find the one. It's $2,700. This is the guitar he wants. All right. So find out $800 off this bad boy. So we end up getting that guitar for $2,000. And, oh, man. Don't get me wrong. I love the guitar I'm going to get. This guitar is pretty sweet. It is pretty sweet. And I'm super excited for him because I think he's going to have this guitar for the entire rest of his life. I can't imagine. There's really, out of all of the guitars in all of the shops I've been to, I don't think there's a better guitar you could buy. I could argue maybe some of the Fender American Strats, just because that's a guitar you can just play forever. It's just never going to... This guitar is in that same league. If you don't know about guitars, a Gibson Les Paul is kind of the de facto awesome guitar to own. So he picked that guitar up. And of course, it was new, so he got it right away. Me, on the other hand, I got to wait. So in 3 days, I'm going to do that. But this is really leading down the road of the discussion I wanted to have, which is Rocksmith. Rocksmith. So back in 2014, Rocksmith started out. And it's actually old enough. I remember I bought Rocksmith at a Best Buy, and it was in a box. And I got the cable that came with it. And I played quite a bit of it. I had a good time with it. But it was on, I think I bought it originally for like the Xbox 360, if that's crazy enough. And there was enough input latency at the time that I just wasn't sold on the whole process. Like, there was just a little bit of input latency that was just, it was just slightly off. It wasn't great. Now, I've been in bands, I've played music my whole life, so for me, I know this is the perspective I want you to understand. I know how to play guitar already. And so you might say, why do you want Rocksmith? Isn't it a tool? No, it's actually just fun. It's just fun. If you know guitar, it's fun. If you don't know guitar, it's a great way to learn. I mean, it really is. It's really fantastic. So, I go ahead and say, let's try Rocksmith Plus. It uses the same cable that I had, which is cool. And by the way, there's now aftermarket cables. You can get all kinds of these cables online. Every price range you want. I'm going to look for one that's wireless, kind of. I need a wireless one. But anyway, I get the Rocksmith cable. Break it out. I download Rocksmith Plus. Now, the one thing that was a little disappointing was Rocksmith Plus has a $19.99 a month subscription. And I know people are like, oh my goodness. And if this was a game, I'd be like, $19 a month for a game is kind of crazy. This is not a game. This is actually a tool and something you can use for so many different things if you play guitar. And my son knows how to play guitar, but he's still got some learning to do. There's no way you could do lessons for $19 a month. It's just not even possible. It is really, really good at systematically helping you learn how to play guitar. And the new version, what they've done versus the old version is pretty advanced. So first thing I noticed right out of the box, playing one of the default songs, the latency is almost gone. Meaning when I hit the note, it feels like I hit the note live. And the tone is coming right back into my headphones. Everything sounds like I'm in the room with the thing. Which is one of the criteria I have, because I want it to be that precise. So I go ahead and I pay the $19 a month. I grab the thing. I start going through the catalog, and I realize that the old Rocksmith had just X number of songs. It was a lot like Rock Band in the sense that there was, 15 to 20 different songs, maybe of a genre that you liked, that you could kind of find, and you were kind of limited in the selection. Well, Rocksmith Plus has worked out some deal with one of the major studios, I think Warner Brothers. There are so many songs in there. So, just in the metal category alone, there were like 600 pages of songs to go through. It was actually overwhelming. You just sort of search artists that you like. It's that many different songs. And most of those songs have been worked into there. So most of them have been created and, everything's, you just go and you just play it. But on top of that, there's a mode that you can go that gives you a tool that you can make them for your own songs. So you can go find other songs or do it. So you really have like this unlimited amount of songs that you can actually kind of have this game for. So I immediately started picking out some songs. I was playing some tunes last night, and it is just fun. Now, I've always been a rhythm player, and so I'm going to use this to sort of advance my guitar playing career, and I'm going to play some more leads. And so this will be kind of something that I can kind of do to kind of, play some leads and learn some stuff, because I want to learn how to improvise and riff and do some of that. And I've just never been good at that. This is really a way to do it. So if you've never played guitar before, moral of the story is you can find an affordable guitar. You can pick up Rocksmith for free. The game doesn't cost anything. The cable is like $20. Easy. You can combine the cable with the Rocksmith. All right. And you are talking about having hundreds and hundreds of hours of just amazing fun playing songs. So I can't recommend this thing enough. It gets a lot of like bad critiques. I've seen people be kind of like, I don't know, and they don't like the sub and they don't like this. I don't know what's not to like about it. The songs that I played were so spot on as far as the actual chord progressions, and there's all kinds of things that they do to help you. But like when I was playing a fast song and there's lots of like strumming or thumping, it was getting every one of those notes perfect. It was hearing everything I was doing, which was just spot on, which is cool. And so I just really didn't even see anything in this that I was like, ooh, you got to be, worried about it, or it's great. And so they have it. It's for guitar, bass, and piano, which I think is something I may do. There's a good chance I'm going to actually grab a keyboard and roll this out for piano. There's a really good chance I'm going to do that, because I've always wanted to learn piano. And this would be a chance for me to actually play some of those songs. But you can find a song in here that you want to learn. I promise there's enough of them. They have all of these lessons now, like just general lessons. I take it for granted. I spent a lot of time around music, and so I just sort of learned all the basic techniques of like how to hold things, how to kind of sit, how to, how to adjust your strap, how to, I'll do all these things. It will take you through being a complete beginner to being a more advanced player, with just lessons upon lessons upon lessons, and they're all built into the interface. And one of the other cool things about it is there's like a gamification sort of situation going on with this. So they make it to where you can actually earn some things and kind of play some games, which is really fun. And that's one of the things that kind of keeps you going. You get through and it's like you got 89% of your notes right. You're like, oh, that's sweet. Next time you get 90 and you're like, all right. Next time 95, right? You just keep going. And you'll see on there they've got this little bar that goes across. I don't think I have a picture of that. There's a little bar that goes across the top of the game, and it shows you which phrases that you are struggling with. And what I like about that is that if you're struggling with a specific part or a specific area, you can actually just have it replay that area over and over again. But on top of it, you have it replay it super duper slow. So you can just have it go, one note, two notes. So if the beat's like tap, 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 when you slow it down, it'll be like tap, 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 tap. And it gives you time to actually move your fingers and figure it out. And I got to say, no matter how advanced you are, when you want to learn a part, if you learn it real slow like that, you can speed it up real easily. So you just learn the actual parts as you kind of go along. It's really great. It's really great. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy. I can tell you though, go grab a guitar, any guitar. Grab yourself Rocksmith Plus, get the cable. You'll have to have a Windows PC or a PlayStation or an Xbox to do it. I play it on PC. And then just like learn guitar, just rock out. You'll have more fun doing this than you will just about anything else. I promise. And you can do it. You all can do it. Everybody can do it. It's really great. It's really great. Well, by the way, I was looking in here before I move on. It's kind of cool. They've got all this stuff. I was looking through the Gibson makes a whole bunch of stuff for home and office. They make all these little tiny guitar models, like these little tiny ones. They have posters. They have signs. They got these sweet Gibson clocks, though. They're super cool. I was like, maybe I need a Gibson clock. So there's some really cool stuff in here. You can get in, you can get into the whole culture of it. Get yourself a Gibson coffee mug, a Gibson stool, sit down, rock out. Amazing. Amazing. They got it for Epiphone too. Epiphone's got some patches. I really might get this playing stool. You need a stool when you're playing guitar. It's hard to play in a chair. I highly recommend you get a stool. There you have it. Rocksmith Plus, high recommendation. Just go do it. Don't even second guess it. Great time. You're going to have a blast playing it. All right, let's switch gears real quick. I wanted to talk about this over the past 15 hours or so. The streamer, who I don't know, who supposedly was a former employee of Twitch, which isn't everybody a former employee of Twitch? I feel like the entire internet is a bunch of people that used to work at Twitch. And I'm like, what does it take? Like, I feel like everybody can go to work there, but then once you work there, I feel like nobody stays working there. Like, what's going on with that? Like, is there some rude reason? Like, you don't, I don't get it. Anyway, comes out and says, hey, everybody, I know the reason Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch. Now, let me back up a little bit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, 4 years ago, something like that, Twitch just came out with some random thing and said, for no reason, we're banning Dr. Disrespect from Twitch. And of course, the assumption there is that they have a reason, right? There's an assumption there that they have some sort of concrete reason for it. They ban him from Twitch. Now, this is where it gets weird. They ban him. They never say a reason. He sues them. So Dr. Disrespect sues them. I don't think it ever went to any kind of court or trial, but there's a settlement that's made. Now, if you think about a company that gets rid of somebody for something they think is a good reason to, but they don't want to say, and then after they do that and they get rid of them, there's an agreement made, in which case they say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and pay him the rest of his contract, and we're just going to settle this lawsuit. Okay, so just think about the scope of what's going on there. Do you know many companies that are like, yeah, I'm just going to give millions of dollars to some dude that broke a rule that violates it so I don't have to pay him? It's kind of weird. So I think the assumption there was Twitch was up to something. I don't know. Now, this whole thing is super weird, and this is why it's going to be a documentary someday. You're going to be watching this on Netflix. The idea is that Dr. Disrespect, right, did something that Twitch thought was wrong, so they get rid of him, but then they pay him all the money when he sues them. Okay? And then everybody's super silent about it. Nobody talks about it. Dr. Disrespect doesn't talk about it. Twitch doesn't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. 4 years later, it's pretty much out of everybody's mind. Nobody's saying a word. Dr. Disrespect is tweeting or is streaming on YouTube. Twitch is fine without him. Dr. Disrespect's fine without them. It's seemingly over. And then this strange tweet comes up that says, ooh, I know why Dr. Disrespect was banned. Now, the whole thing is strange because we're 4 years later. This thing is kind of done. And a former employee of Twitch is saying, I know the reason. Now, he doesn't mention him by name. He's very careful because he could get drawn into this battle pretty quickly, because I doubt a former employee of Twitch has the ability to speak based on the NDAs I'm guessing they have on behalf of the company on reasons why this is going down. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, there's going to be lawsuits. There's no way. Somebody's going to sue somebody here. And I haven't heard any of that. It's still way too early. I guarantee you lawyers are very much involved right now in what's going on. And I don't know whether Twitch is like, shut up everybody, or who knows what's going on. There's some definite craziness happening. But the funny thing is in a day and age where everything is reported on, we're not getting anything. Anyway, this guy comes out and says, the reason that a person, famous streamer, isn't on the platform any longer is that he was using some texting system that Twitch had that I don't know anything about because I'm not really a Twitch kind of person, and said, hey, he was sending messages to an underage girl. Okay. Now, the whole thing is this person that was not with Twitch anymore is saying this is kind of like, trust me, this is what's happening. So there's not really any evidence. Dr. Disrespect isn't actually being called out on anything. Everybody just assumes it's him. Everybody just assumes that he did the thing. We don't know. Because you got to remember what I just told you. If this was the reason, it would be weird that Twitch would pay him. That's a weird thing to have happen. Wouldn't that be weird? Like, you have him dead to rights on something, but then they just pay him. So there's all this, like, maybe they got the information illegally. Maybe Twitch wasn't legally in the right to have that information. So maybe it's a privacy thing for them. There's all these, like, rumors and speculation floating around. And it's kind of fascinating because at the end of the day, we know nothing. We don't know anything. We don't know why. We don't know why this guy says he knows why, and we don't know anything. Well, at the end of the day, Dr. Disrespect was working on a game with a company he helped found called Midnight Society, and they were working on this game, and they came out and said, we're no longer going to have Dr. Disrespect on our team. And it kind of came out of the blue, and they're just like, hey, everybody, we're not going to have him because of this thing that we think happened, and we're not going to do it. Which is super duper weird. Because this has multiple elements to it. So, they've got this shooter game they're going to try to release. Games get canceled all the time. Dr. Disrespect is a big part of this. I don't know exactly what his stake was. I feel like there was some money involved, and there's obviously his name and his brand were involved. But then they drop him. And then I also heard a rumor today I have no evidence of any of this, that they also are just cutting the game. So this also sounds like a great opportunity for them to sort of drop something that maybe wasn't going very well. Because when you have these allegations, usually in contracts, if there's any kind of like discrepancy like this, they can kind of just move on without like lots of settlements or payments or any of that kind of stuff. So now we're sitting there looking at this going, okay, so if they dropped him and they do all this, is there going to be another lawsuit? Because now Dr. Disrespect can sue this company he helped found for wrongful termination unless they have the information. Now, do they have the information legally or not? Who knows? So we've got all these people that they won't say anything. We don't have the information. And it's all bizarre to me because I've never seen a situation where when somebody does have this type of information that they don't just get, sent packing forever. So the last kind of stage of this thing, the thing I'm waiting to hear about the most is going to be what is going to happen with YouTube now. So Dr. Disrespect gets on a stream and he says, hey, you know what? I'm going to actually take a step back. This is all exhausting. And I have to say, based on the story and everything that I know about and just following as a fan of all of this, Dr. Disrespect, I've always thought was kind of a cool personality. Just as a performer, he's not he's playing a fake persona. I like it. But what's YouTube going to do now? Does YouTube have the information where YouTube drops him? And Dr. Disrespect's like, I'm exhausted, is basically what he's saying from all of this. And I don't want to blame him. I mean, I'd be exhausted too, but it is kind of interesting because if there's truth to these things, then it's really weird that the truth is never coming out. Like, how is that happening? And if there's no truth to it, or it's all illegal activity that's going on behind the scenes, then that would come out. But it's the most bizarre thing, which is why this is going to be some sort of a documentary. You're going to be seeing this 20 years from now. You guys are going to be sitting on a couch 20 years from now, whatever streaming service we have at the time, like, who knows what it's going to be called. You're going to be flipping through it or whatever, and they're going to say, remember this? We're going to go back, and they're going to have interviews with everybody, and it's going to be crazy, right? There's got to be some sort of statute of limitations on when all these people can speak. I don't even think when that happens, we're going to get the full amount of information. Because I've not seen anything. Like, it's very bizarre. The dude that came out and said he did the thing is just like, trust me. Right? So I'm supposed to trust a Twitch employee that's no longer at Twitch, that he has information that doesn't. And I've worked at companies before, and I'm just going to say, sometimes companies have rumors. They spread rumors. Like, it would be weird for the employees of Twitch to know the real reason, but it wouldn't be weird for the Twitch employees to have formulated their own opinions and spread gossip. That wouldn't be weird. And so that telephone game, I could totally see it play. I could see everybody doing the telephone game all the way down the line. You know what I'm saying? And they'd be like whispering. They'd be like, hey, did you know why Doc got suspended? But who knows what actually was going on? Because I doubt, seriously, the people that made the decision brought all of the employees in and said, hey, we're going to tell you why we did it, and here's all the information. Oh, by the way, don't talk about it, ever. So it's super weird. So I'm like, is Dr. Disrespect going to come back? Is he going to be suing people? Is he going to be suing his former company? Is YouTube going to be dropping him? Is he going to ever stream again? Is this just it? Is he just done? Are we seeing the end of that initial streaming generation with the likes of Dr. Disrespect and Ninja and all these guys that like really kind of built this like foundational component of these personality streamers? Are we going to kind of see the end of that? He's always been a polarizing character because he always gives his opinion on stuff, And it's a hard time in the world right now to give your opinion. Your opinion is going to be met with cheers and screams of pain and agony. It's like, no matter what you do, you're going to have some people that come to your defense and some people that don't. And I think even the Twitter guy, whatever his name is, that came out is dealing with that. And I think I saw a post where he was mad because the hardcore followers of Dr. Disrespect were coming on and giving him the business. So we have these, everything's got to be a mob movement. But the funny part about it is nobody, Dr. Disrespect's team, me, the rest of the media, Twitch, nobody seemingly has actual information. We're just playing this game of, I think that's possible. This could have happened. And then now we're just in our own minds. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. We're just formulating our own opinions about the things we don't know about. We're just coming up with ideas like, is this really what's going on? Let's just come up with some ideas on our own and figure it out. Isn't that wild? It's just wild to me. So I guess he's not going to be streaming, which is kind of a bummer because I always like to pop in and watch him stream. He does amazing things with the mouse and keyboard. And he does it with a style that is just cool. It's just always cool. And some of his message was actually really cool. Like, he had things he would say to his viewers and stuff that were kind of important about, like, not giving up, practicing, getting good. Not at just games, but there were a lot of life things. It was like, don't give up in your life. Like, go after it. Go get it. Do what you got to do. Like, he had that real attitude of success comes from hard work. Success comes from an attitude of just being, that guy that can like say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a good job. Success comes from all these ways. So, a lot of the stuff that he has to say is going to be interesting. I will update you guys if I learn more. I'm still waiting. We're going to have a guest on the show here soon, which would be kind of fun. But, until then, just remember, on the internet, you don't know what anything is. When people say things, just because they said it, doesn't mean they have... do some critical thinking with this stuff. Nobody knows squat. And I'm sure everybody's digging right now for the information, because the minute the information comes out, everybody will be like, what? Some group is going to get to say, I told you so. Somebody out there is going to be like, I told you so. I told you so. And so we'll get to see kind of what happens there with the I told you so crowd. But it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating. Well, everybody, it's getting to be that time. I'm going to end the show. I hope you had a really good one. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'm out. Thanks, everybody who is watching. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You can check it out at Spotify and all the places where podcasts are. I'm going to have it up and loaded here in a few minutes. Peace out. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me at Boomtap Live